Welcome to this Blackpool Music School video all about preparation for your first performance on stage. I should say this can be counted as an open mic night, a jazz jam night, a ukulele get-together, a guitar get-together, anywhere where you will be performing for the first time in front of a live audience. And here are some of the things you can do to make sure it goes rather well. In case you're wondering, I am filming this during the heatwave in August 2022 and I'm still wearing a collar and tie. And it also shows you how far in advance I shoot these videos. Anyway, on with the lesson. The first thing is you need to know how many songs you're going to perform. You may be performing 1, 2 or 3. If it's an open mic night, normally you get at least 2 songs, one after each other, maybe 3 if there's not enough people attending. But we'll go on the fact you're going to do 2. What I would suggest is pick the 2 songs you are most comfortable with. I'm not saying they're your best songs or the ones that will go down the best, but they're the songs you feel most comfortable with. It's your first time. You need to have things in your favour. So, pick 2 songs. If I was guessing, I would pick songs with 3 or 4 chords in, not something that requires a lot of finger dexterity on your instrument. So we'll go off a 2 or 3 chord song. So get these songs into your head. I would also recommend getting printouts of the music as well. Not particularly read on stage, but just as an aid memoir in case you go blank. There is nothing worse than being on stage, forgetting the words and standing there looking dumbstruck. Just have a sheet of music up with the words and chords on, so if you should go blank, they are there ready for you. You probably won't need them if you know the song, but your mind can go blank. You can do what I always do in that situation, is sing another verse instead of that one, or repeat the verse you've just done. Not many people notice. I have done this on stage, and not many people notice when you change the words, because they are listening, but they're not listening to that intent. It's not like a record at home where you can analyse it. It's a live performance. It comes and goes in a blink of an eye. I would also recommend choosing 2 songs of different styles. If you know a waltz, do 1 waltz song and 1 4/4 song. Or if you're going to do 2 4/4 songs, do 1 slow-paced and 1 fast-paced, just so it shows a bit of variety and makes it a bit more interesting for the listener. Because remember, the listener has to be entertained. Even if it's an open mic night or a jazz jam night or anything like that, really you have to entertain people. And you can do it whichever way you want. Some people, like me, shall we say, are sarcastic frontmen who take the mick out themselves so to save you the hassle of doing it. I always use this line: I take the mick out of myself so you don't have to. It goes down well sometimes, but like you say, it depends on the audience. Now, if it's ran properly, the open mic night, the jazz jam night, the get-together, the ukulele club, guitar club, whatever club it is, they will normally let the people who are beginners on first. They'll have somebody good open the show to get people excited and into it, but if it was me running it, I'd get the beginners or the first timers up first, because there's nothing worse than following somebody who is really good. We know the opening act has to be good because you've got to get people's attention, but after that, personally, I'd start with the beginners, then the intermediates, and then the professionals, in the loosest term. I use the word professional in this way. To me, a professional is somebody who earns his living or her living playing music. If they have any other job other than teaching music is an exception, then they are not a professional. To me, an amateur is somebody who does it just for fun. They get up and have a few laughs, sing songs with their friends. That's an amateur. A semi-pro is somebody who earns a little bit of money doing something else and earns some money performing. But a true professional is, say, a music tutor during the day, or a school teacher during the day teaching music, and a professional musician at night. But really, it's somebody who only earns a living performing on stage. To me, that is what a professional is. It is not a standard of excellence, shall we say. Just because you're a professional doesn't mean you're the best. in my opinion. So preparation is important. If you play a stringed instrument like a guitar, ukulele, banjo, bass guitar, make sure it's tuned before you go on stage. Because you don't want to get up there and having to start tuning it, because again, it's dead air. It's a time when you should be singing and you're sat there tuning. So before you just go on with one of your digital tuners, just tune it up so it's ready. Get on stage and as soon as your sheet music's on the stand and the MC has introduced you, really, you could start with, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, this is my first time on stage here. I hope you can bear with me." Something like that, something light-hearted, and then sing your songs. If they're a nice audience and understand you're a beginner or it's your first time on stage, they should be kind. But really, they're the things. Have 2 songs, one different than the other, preferably 3 or 4 chords. Have your instrument tuned before you go on stage, and have a little something in your mind to say to the audience if you want to. Sometimes people just say, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is my first song." That's fine as well. Then there's the third song. If you want to, you can have a third song in storage, shall we say, so just in case they like you or you go down really well, you've got a third song, ready to go. You don't want to be thinking, have one in your mind. I would also recommend, if you're going to do a third song, do one with a sing-along chorus so people can join in. If you're my age, there was a song called Irene Goodnight. It's a very old blues song by Lead Belly from, I think, 1910s, 1920s. And it always goes down well. It always gets people singing along. But there are others. Of course, with some songs, people sing along anyway because they are that well known. That's your first time. If it's your second time getting up, or the second time attending one of these, note the age of the audience in the gig. Because if they are my age, which is several decades old now, then you can probably work out what music they grew up listening to. And if it's mainly people my age, then you could sort of, shall we say, tailor songs to suit them. Pick a few songs, in my case from the 60s and 70s, and maybe aim to please the majority of the audience. If they're older, maybe you can do some Elvis and Buddy Holly, for example, or Beatles. That's what you need to think about, but this is only after you've been the first time. Other things you can do, which depends on your situation. If there's somebody who plays similar music to you, you can maybe sort of try and do it as a duo next time. Maybe get each other's telephone numbers or their telephone numbers and try and form a little group. It can be helpful because if you're both beginners, you can both help each other out on stage. And they're just little things you can do. So preparation is everything. You may only get one song as well, I should say. This is a bit rambling because it's the thoughts that pop into my head. So, like I say, at least 2 songs. You're probably going to get 2 songs unless it's very busy. Again, you may be in for a wait because if it's some of these folk evenings, there can be 30 or 40 people doing a song and you may only get one. With jazz, it depends on the number of people and the way they run the club. Some people may do a 10-minute solo, some might just do a 3-minute song. Again, it depends on the way it's run. Often, if there's not many people there, you may get 4 or 5 songs, or 6 or 7 even. So be prepared for that, but you may only get one as well. But like I said, preparation. If you can, take spare strings with you, or if you're a saxophone player, spare reeds or whatever you need. So just in case one breaks while you're there, you can change it. You can't not go on because there's something wrong. If, like me, if a string breaks on the guitar, I'll just play it with 5 strings. And the 6 strings, if I do some open chords, people probably won't notice. Again, they're just little things like this. But this is the main bit. I encourage you to get up and perform. The more you get up and perform, the easier it will become. The first time is always the hardest because it's your first time. After that, it generally becomes easier. And again, don't be worried about singing the same song month or week after week. I know plenty of people who have sang the same 2 songs at every meeting, every month for a couple of years, and each time it gets perfected. But again, if you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. If you don't, That's understandable. So I hope you found this video useful. I apologise for it being a bit of a rambling one, but it's just the thoughts that come into my head. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please give us a thumbs up. The more subscribers we get, the more videos we will post. So, thank you for watching. Take care, keep practising, keep playing, and as always, after 3, 1, 2, 3, goodbye.